For a small town, Grimsby has a rich history when it comes to pubs and watering holes. During the 1950s, 60s and 70s, it seems like there was at least one pub on almost every street in Grimsby. This is largely due to the town being at the height of its fishing heyday. In this video, I'll be mostly concentrating on the pubs that I remember, be that going in them as a young man, or just remember seeing them around as a kid in passing. Join me as we take a walk down memory lane. The first round's on me. The popular Briggergate nightclub eventually changed its name to Baskervilles and again to Charlie's in 2003. It changed hands again and reopened as Heaven and Hell. Today it's Navigo House, the mental health provider. Originally known as Clouds in the 70s, this place is probably best known as Park Lane. Later it would be rechristened Silhouettes, Legends Fun Pub, Coyote Bar, After Dark, and finally the Lighthouse, before closing its doors for the final time as a nightclub in 2018. Personal favourite of mine. Immediately recognisable, this iconic building, built in 1920, has been everything from a snooker hall, a Woolworths, and even an indoor market. After a £1.7 million investment, it now operates under the Wetherspoons banner and is known as the Coliseum. With its tropical themed interior, including palm trees, a treasure chest, this was the place to go. Up to 1,800 revellers would cram inside during its heyday. Unfortunately, it would close down in 1986, and 2 years later it would be gutted by a devastating fire. Originally known as Darley's before changing to the Leaking Boot, this is another iconic building that lots of locals have fond memories of. Closing its doors for the final time in February 2008, this too was destroyed by a fire in June 2009. Rumours persist that this was an insurance job, though that's never been proven. Customs opened in 1988. A £200,000 investment transformed the venue into Tokyo Joe's in 1992. During this time, The Prodigy headlined the Eruption Festival. Shortly after this, Acid House was banned, and the late licence was taken away also to combat drug abuse that was rampant at the venue. In 1994, it would transform into Chicago's American Restaurant, before closing in 1997. turn of the century, this was the place to go in town, with high-profile names such as the Walkabout Inn, Chicago Rock Cafe and Yates's, neighbouring newer franchises like Musica. There was a destination for everyone. But within 10 years of opening, business was down due to a lack of trade and the indoor smoking ban. In 2012, Pure Gym started bidding to buy the majority of the premises. Cotties. This picture was taken when Cotties had its well-known Rainbow Lounge. I've included this pub simply because just last week it was announced that this too will be closing shortly. Situated on Heneage Road, I remember occasionally popping in here with my dad for a couple of pints and a game of pool. It closed in 2009 and later demolished to make way for apartments for those with special needs. Situated on Macaulay Street and just a short walk from the town centre, this was my dad's local during the 80s and one of the first pubs I ever went to. The last pint would be pulled in July 2015. Today, the building is transformed into flats. The very first pub I ever entered, albeit as a 5-year-old while my dad was playing darts. This popular pub was built in 1937 and closed in 2009. I was amazed to learn that this pub originally opened in the mid-1800s. It eventually closed in 2010 and has since been allowed to fall into disrepair. Probably the pub I've frequented the most in the Freeman Street area. I think one year we even had our wakes doing here, but due to the recession it would close its doors in January 2009. I only have vague memories of this pub, mainly due to its iconic exterior, but it's crazy to think that there was a pub right inside what is now Freshly Placed shopping centre. This pub would close in November 1988. Even though this pub's still around, I've included it because I remember it by all of its previous names, which include the Yard Revolts, Winston's Bar, Idols, and its current name, The Bank. Not a lot of details are available online, but I remember going here for a carvery around 2002. I only tried to get into JD's once and was subsequently turned away because I'd forgotten my ID. It was previously Dean's. And I definitely can't afford one of these apartments. Another iconic structure from the past. and I remember as a kid seeing this huge castle-like building if we were going to Ronnie Ramsden's, which was across the road. A popular pub amongst fishermen and skippers, the pub closed on July the 22nd, 1990, and was demolished just 2 weeks later. Popular venue for Grimsby Town supporters, this one, probably because it just sits a few yards from Blundell Park. It also acted as a hotel, and there were rumours that it was even haunted. It closed in 2015. Originally known as the Pier Pavilion, but best known as the Submarine and Waves, it was refurbed in 2003 and changed to Buckets and Spades, and then again to the establishment in 2010. It reverted back to the Waves Bar in 2012, but closed down for good around 2019. I only drank here a couple of times, but I have hazy memories of murdering a few songs on the karaoke. Opening in 1969, it closed in 2012 and was demolished in 2014. Instantly recognisable, this impressive structure was built in 1930, and since 2010 it has been a Tesco extra. Originally used to take passengers across the River Humber before the construction of the Humber Bridge, this vessel was towed to Grimsby in 1987. Popular amongst her regulars, she was eventually scrapped in 2010 after the owners refused to pay for essential repairs, much to the dismay of many Grimbarians. Opening in 1904, the Palace Buffy Theatre could hold 1,500 people. Though the theatre closed in the 1970s, the pub carried on pulling pints into the early 2000s before becoming a car phone warehouse and now a bathroom showroom. Situated next to Smith's Arcade, next to no information is available online about this Cleethorpes night spot, but I'm sure some of you remember this place fondly. Believe it or not, but the following bands played at this iconic venue: Queen, the Sex Pistols, AC/DC and many others. Last orders were called on the 15th of February 2007, and though there were many interested parties ready to bid for the building, it was tragically bulldozed before any bids could be even listened to. I think we can all agree that this town has lost a lot of its character over the last 20 or 30 years or so, and it's my opinion that a lot of that has got to do with the closure of some of the pubs I've mentioned today. I just want to say thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.